The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. What is it? What are the causes? What are the consequences? Who should take responsibility? The North Pacific Subtropical Gyre, which is located in the northern part of the Pacific Ocean, rotates clockwise due to high pressure currents. It is this gyre that captures garbage and traps it in its center, producing the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is an assemblage of rubbish, refuse and other matter that finds its way into the Pacific Ocean. While it contains larger objects, it consists mostly of tiny pieces of plastic measuring only millimeters, suspended just beneath the surface. It encompasses the Western Garbage Patch near Japan and the Eastern Garbage Patch near Hawaii and California, and both patches together are said to contain approximately 100 million tons of rubbish. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch continues to expand each year. It is an ever-growing problem that is not going away. 80% of rubbish found in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch comes from the countries around the Pacific Rim. The rubbish from these mainland countries gets taken during storms into sewers and out to sea, blown from landfill sites or put directly into the seas and oceans by people who lack an understanding of how to correctly dispose of rubbish to benefit the environment. The remaining 20% is believed to come from cargo ships that may have been in a marine accident. The cargo has been left on decks and eventually falls into the ocean. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is believed to be approximately 300 million square kilometres at present and causes much damage to marine life in the Pacific region. The consequences are many. In relation to marine life, the effects are via ingestion, entanglement, smothering, and by aiding in the introduction of invasive species. Ingestion and entanglement have afflicted more than 250 species. Some of those are turtles, penguins, albatross, baleen whales, fur seals, fish and crustaceans, just to mention a few. It is common for seabirds and marine vertebrates to ingest plastic pellets, bottle caps, pieces of toys, and cigarette lighters. Sea turtles often mistake plastic bags for jellyfish. Marine animals can be caught up in nets, ropes, and discarded fishing line. Ingestion and entanglement can cause damage to marine life, both internal and external. Wounds, lesions, sores, blocked digestive tract, starvation, reduction in quality of life and reproductive capacity, and even death are common occurrences. Smothering is when something is being suppressed by something else. In this case, it is plastic taking over plankton and the species that feed on it. The amount of floating plastic and settled plastic is believed to be more in weight than plankton. In 1999, the ratio was 6:1, and in 2008 it had risen to 46:1. It is increasing at a dramatic rate. Once the plastic reaches the ocean floor, it becomes the food of bottom-dwelling filter feeders who cannot differentiate between plastic and plankton. A final consequence in relation to marine life is the establishment of conflicting species that may interfere with the food chain. Plastic provides the perfect home for ocean-roaming predators. As humans, we are responsible for producing, using and disposing of the rubbish and plastic that end up in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Therefore, we should care about this issue and help do our part in solving the problem and improving the habitat of marine life. At present, the main concern is to control the problem at its source. This means that even though the problem is huge, and it would be great to somehow remove it, it is more feasible to prevent it from growing larger. The problem can be addressed by all. It is imperative that laws and regulations that have been made by the governments regarding ships dumping rubbish are adhered to. Research into monitoring and the time and cost of cleanup be continued. Companies that produce containers, bottles and other plastic items consider other options. Programs that educate about recycling should be available to all, and owners of restaurants and cafes should restrict the use of plastic takeaway containers and polystyrene products. For the average person, it's the little things that matter. Use reusable shopping bags instead of plastic bags. Reduce the use of many plastic items such as straws and bottles. Use paper straws and refillable bottles instead. We can be involved in cleanup programs at beaches and parks so rubbish does not get blown into our waterways. Finally, if we all recycle, reduce and reuse, our environment and marine life will be thankful.